Former U.S. Representative George Santos was serving a federal prison sentence for a range of financial crimes, most notably wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, stemming from schemes related to his 2022 campaign for Congress. His incarceration, however, was dramatically cut short when President Donald Trump commuted his sentence on October 17, 2025, just months after Santos began his 87-month term. Summary and analysis of the crimes. Santos was convicted on 23 counts after pleading guilty in August 2024 to charges that encapsulated a sustained pattern of dishonesty and fraud before and during his brief tenure in the House. The core of his criminal activity centered on three main schemes: campaign donor fraud and aggravated identity theft. Santos admitted to devising a scheme where he stole the personal identity and financial information of at least 11 campaign contributors, including his own family members. He then repeatedly and without authorization charged their credit cards, funneling the money into his campaign and personal accounts. This scheme included falsifying campaign finance reports to conceal the true source of the funds and circumvent contribution limits. COVID-19 unemployment fraud. While employed and receiving a salary from his company, the Diverting Organization LLC, Santos fraudulently applied for and collected New York State unemployment benefits between mid-2020 and April 2021. Lying in House disclosures and embezzlement. Santos filed false financial disclosure reports with the House of Representatives, vastly overstating his income and assets, including non-existent checking and savings accounts and inflated salary dividends from his company. Separately, an ethics committee report found substantial evidence that he blatantly stole from his campaign to pay for personal luxuries like designer clothes, Botox treatments, and even an OnlyFans subscription. Analysis. The Santos case represents an unprecedented level of deceit by a sitting member of Congress. The criminal acts were not simply exaggerations of his past. They were calculated financial crimes targeting donors, taxpayers, and the integrity of the campaign finance system. His conviction and subsequent expulsion from the House of Representatives in December 2023 underscore a rare bipartisan rejection of his lack of integrity. Reasons and consequences. Reasons for the crimes. The underlying motivation for Santos's criminal behavior appears to be a deep-seated desire for financial gain and political status through fabrication. Aspiration and greed. Santos sought to portray himself as a wealthy, successful businessman to make himself a viable political candidate, but lacked the legitimate financial resources to fund his campaign and sustain a luxury lifestyle. Campaign finance necessity. The fraudulent reporting and identity theft were necessary to meet fundraising benchmarks set by the Republican Party, allowing him access to financial support and political legitimacy he otherwise couldn't secure. Pattern of deception. The crimes were merely the culmination of a years-long pattern of fabulism about his entire life story, from his education to his employment history, indicating a fundamental disregard for truth and legal boundaries in pursuit of personal ambition. Major consequences. Expulsion from Congress. Santos became only the sixth member in the history of the House to be expelled by his colleagues, and the first to be expelled without a prior conviction for federal crime or supporting the Confederacy. Criminal conviction and imprisonment. He was sentenced to 87 months, over 7 years, in federal prison and ordered to pay approximately $580,000 in restitution and forfeiture to his victims. Commutation and release. President Trump's sudden commutation immediately ended his prison term, a highly unusual move that sparked political controversy, but did not erase his criminal conviction. Loss of public trust. The scandal severely damaged the public's confidence in the vetting process for political candidates and the overall integrity of the legislative branch. Prediction and solutions. Prediction. Despite his dramatic release from prison, Santos's political career, while not legally over, faces nearly insurmountable obstacles. Financial struggles. He remains liable for the $580,000 in restitution and forfeiture, a significant debt that will heavily influence his immediate future. Return to public life. While his conviction legally does not bar him from running for Congress again, the public and political scrutiny would be intense. He is likely to transition into a media personality, leveraging his notoriety for financial gain through interviews or other attention-seeking endeavors, rather than returning to elected office. Legal standing. The commutation does not clear his record. He remains a convicted felon, which will limit career opportunities and perpetually define his public image. Solutions. Preventative measures. The Santos case highlighted gaping holes in the systems meant to ensure candidate integrity. Potential solutions include enhanced congressional vetting, requires stronger verified documentation to substantiate claims made on financial disclosure forms, campaign resumes, and background checks conducted by political parties and campaign committees. Stricter FEC enforcement. Implement mandatory automated audits for certain financial disclosure categories, especially those involving large personal loans or transfers, to detect red flags more swiftly. Strengthened congressional ethics. Empower the House Ethics Committee and the Office of Congressional Ethics, OCE, with greater resources and clearer, more expedient procedures for investigating allegations against members, independent of criminal prosecution. Legislative reform. Congress should consider legislation that stiffens penalties for campaign finance fraud, identity theft, and false statements made to secure elected office, sending a clear message that such conduct will be met with severe legal consequences.